So should you invest in a commercial cleaning franchise? Well, I'm about to get into it because I had three different cleaning franchises. All right. I was with Coverall Cleaning first. Then I went on to Jani-King for a real quick second. And then I went on to Jam Pro, which was the one that I was actually successful with. I won the Jam Pro Franchise Owner of the Year honorable mention back in 2015. And I got the plaque here. If you watch my videos, you probably seen me flash it already. And then I also wrote the book, Is It a Scam? The Truth About Commercial Cleaning Franchises, which is still available on Amazon today. And so just give you that preface information so you can understand. This is a guy who's very knowledgeable about the topic. I read the franchise disclosure document from front to back, back to front, plenty of times. So yeah, I'm pretty knowledgeable about this topic. So let's get into it. Is it a good investment? Should you do it? First part, is it good? That's subjective. I think it can be a good investment for some people. It just depends on where you are. Would it be the best investment? No. But can it be a good investment? Yes, it could be, depending on who you are and where you are and what you know. Should you do it? I would need to know your situation to be able to answer that properly. But let's try to, break this down and we'll try to figure out, if it's right for you. So here's the thing. If you've never, ever been in business before, ever in your life, you know that your grammar isn't that great. You know that you really not no hustler and you're not going to get out here and try to find contracts on your own. You know that, you just really want a guaranteed steady paycheck coming in. Then you might can go a franchise route. If you know you got, you're a street person, right? You straight from the streets. You're not really articulate. You know what I mean? If you know you can't be in a professional setting and thrive, you might can go the cleaning franchise route. And the reason why I say these things is because if you go the franchise route, they will find the accounts for you. You don't have to get out here and find and do the sales. They typically don't do all the talking in the daytime for you. You go in at night and as long as you clean well, you typically don't got to deal with the customers too often. You know what I mean? You will meet them. They'll know you. But for the most part, you guys can leave notes to each other, text each other, email each other. I mean, they really don't have to deal with you. They'll mostly deal with the franchise. And so if you kind of rough around the edges, if you are, you are, then that might work for you, that franchise route, until you can polish yourself up. All right. Now, on the other hand, if you're, retired military, or if you're somebody coming from corporate America, or if you're somebody who you just ambitious, like somebody like myself, for example, where, I didn't have really a college education or anything, but I've always been articulate. I always could, I always had pretty good grammar. You know what I mean? I knew how to learn sales. I'm eager enough to get outside and go look for contracts. I'm willing enough to learn how to bid and price jobs and be coachable. So for me, somebody that's like me, you shouldn't get a franchise because you can make it on your own without a franchise. And here's the thing. The franchises, they try to tell you that, their value is in their name and all of that. That's not that true. Okay, first off, the customers, most of them are kind of turned off by franchises. These franchises have been around for a while now. They get passed around through the different companies because, they just don't do a good job with the cleaning. And a lot of times it's because the franchise owners don't do a good job cleaning because they don't get the proper training, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one thing. The other thing is franchises got a lot of fees. There is a lot of fees. And if you read your FDD or even went to a meeting with them, I'm sure you saw them, right? And so they might guarantee you X amount of business every single month. But when you break that number all the way down, you could be left with as little as like 30% after they take everything. And then the worst part about it is you'll have to claim the whole gross of revenue that you never even saw. So they take their fees out before it even hits your bank account. And that's not characteristic of business, because usually in business, all of your money will go into your actual business bank account first. Then you pay your expenses. And so the fact that all of your money isn't even going into your account makes it look like you're not even actually making that amount. Yet, when they send you your 1099 at the end of the year, they're going to send it based off of you making that total gross that they say that you were making. But then in actuality, it never hit your bank account. So that's something that I never liked about it either. Another thing I don't like about cleaning franchises is the long pay cycles. most of the time, a lot of the time, and again, this doesn't apply for every franchise, but most of them are the same. All right. So make sure you meet with them and see some of these points that I'm making and see if the one you're looking at fit these bills. All right. Most of the time they do. But a lot of times, if you do work in this month, let's just say it's January right now, you typically won't get paid for the work done in January until the last day of the month in February. And so that means you had to start all the way from January the 1st, work for free. All the way through February, work for free. And then finally on the very last day of February, you finally get the check. Well, that becomes a big problem, especially when you have employees or subcontractors working under you. And so that means that they have to wait for their money, unless you have a nest egg in your account. But most of us don't. Most of us come from, poverty backgrounds, and we just trying to take, some type of lump sum of money that we came across and do something smart with it and actually invest it. Or we're just trying to become self-employed. And so a lot of times we take our last to invest in these opportunities. And so that pay cycle, waiting to get paid for so long, it typically doesn't work out for us, right? So that's another thing I hate about franchises. Another thing that I do not like about franchises is the bidding process. Like, they do all of the sales for you and getting the customers for you. So that's good until you realize, well, that also means that they do the bidding and the pricing for you. So that means that if they go in there and they price a job and they do what we call underbid, which means that they're basically charging the customer a lot less than what they should be charging for, but they just did it just to close the deal. Then they hand it over to somebody like you who, quite frankly, for lack of better terms, is just ignorant. You have no idea how to price. So therefore, they could take advantage of your ignorance and give you a job that's completely underbid. But you don't know that. And then a lot of times those opportunities will be disguised in a big amount. So it might be a $3,000 job. And so you just looking at the number $3,000 like, oh man, I'm about to get $3,000. When in actuality, one, you're not getting $3,000 because they're going to take all of their fees, royalty fee, management fee, marketing fee, all type of fees, right? Then on top of that, you actually you don't know how to price it. You don't know how to bid on contracts. So you didn't realize it's going to take so many man hours plus the equipment that you got to rent plus the supplies that you might actually walk out making a negative number, or you might just make minimum wage, and so it's like, if you don't know how to do these things, then you never really know if you're accepting a good deal or not. So a lot of times when they offer you these jobs, they'll give you all of the, they might give you the square footage. Some of them don't. The ones that I was with actually didn't even give me the square footage of the jobs, but some do give you the square footage of the jobs. They'll give you the location, how many days a week, all of this stuff. And you thinking you have enough information to figure out if that's a good deal or not, but you really don't, because you don't even know how to bid in the first place. And so that's something that I also didn't like about franchises. Now, that was also a reason why I always tell people you should probably just go independent, sign up for a coaching program like Clean Biz Network, which I started because I started to see, all of the things that a cleaning franchise does not provide. And so I forgot to mention at the beginning too. So not only did I own 3 cleaning franchises and write a book on this stuff, I also worked for the cleaning franchise company as an operations manager and franchise consultant. So when I did that was when I really learned that, it's just not enough. It's just a better way to do this. And that's when I started my company, Clean Biz Network. All right. And in Clean Biz Network, I basically just strive to teach you all of the things that the franchise doesn't teach you. So while they'll guarantee you these contracts and everything, they won't teach you how to price the jobs, how to bid, how to actually get your own customers and own them. So that way you don't have to pay somebody else percentages and stuff because they found them for you. You know what I mean? I show you how to build your own website, how to rank in SEO and on Google so that way your company is searchable, how to pick up the phone and actually cold call, how to do your books because they won't show you how to do any of that stuff, how to get your EIN number, your LLC, all of this stuff, right? And so I didn't like the fact that franchises didn't teach you any of that either, because I've seen situations where, franchise owners were in business for maybe 3, 4 to 5 years. And the next thing you know, they're in tax debt because nobody told them, hey, you're supposed to get a bookkeeper. Or B, learn how to do your books yourself and keep up with it and file taxes every year. Because this isn't a job. It's not like a job where they're just going to take taxes out for you and then you go to your tax person at the end of the year and then they do your taxes and you get a refund. No, this is business. taxes don't come out first. It's up to you to put taxes out to the side yourself and pay them at the end of the year if they're due, right? And so the things like that aren't covered when you buy a franchise, you know. And then and so it's a lot of things is basically like where you're left in the dark about it, and they kind of take advantage of your ignorance. And quite frankly, if you know that you really want to do business, real business, I highly recommend that you avoid a franchise, because everything that you're going to have to learn is going to cause you to eventually realize that you could have done this without them in the first place, without all of their fees. All right, without them having the power over your contracts, because that's another thing that I don't like about them is the fact that you never own those contracts. They do. So that means that they have the authority to get, if they feel like you're not doing a good enough job in the contract, even if the customer you're cleaning for thinks you're doing good enough, if they think you're not doing good enough, they have the right to pull you out as the franchise owner and put a different franchise owner in that account, and they still keep the contract. And so that's something else I didn't like, versus if you were independent and had your own cleaning company, you own the contract. So you get to decide how it's done. All right. And speaking of that, we got scope of work. Scope of work is basically the cleaning schedule, like how often you're supposed to vacuum, dust, mop, etc., and when you do it, and what's included with a regular clean. When you're with a franchise, they decide what's included in that scope of work. When you're independent, you decide what's included in your scope of work. So sometimes they might promise the customer, the moon and the stars, when you're like, no. There's no way I can get on the moon and the stars. I might can give them a star for this price, but I can't get on the moon and the stars because now it's going to take me 4 hours to do this building instead of 1 hour. And if I take 4 hours in this building, I'm going to be making less than minimum wage. You know what I mean? And so stuff like that I'm like, no. If you got, a decent IQ, you know what I mean? You ain't got to be a genius. But if you just decent enough to be, hell, researching this stuff before you go buy, like you're doing right now, listening to this video, you probably shouldn't get a franchise because you got some sense. You know what I mean? And then ChatGTP is this now. So even if your grammar is bad, you can just go to chatgtp.com and whatever you're trying to say, put it in there and tell them to, fix it grammatically for you. You know what I mean? So it's ways to survive out here without a franchise, without them taking all of those fees, and for you to own your own contract. And that's what I just recommend. Now, if you still like, AJ, I'm just going to go with the franchise because at least they guarantee me a certain amount of money. Cool. If that's how you want to start. And guess what? Because that's how I got my start, right? I started working for another guy who owned a franchise. I was just a cleaner at first. Then I saw what he was doing and I went and invested, right? So, and then I got all of the experience from my days with franchises. So I'm not going to knock you if you decide to still go that route. But what I will say is this: if you do get one, try to get one that, one, does not have a clause in your agreement that's going to prevent you from going out to get contracts on your own outside of them, and they don't want a piece of it. Because a lot of them will tell you that, yeah, you can go get contracts outside of us, but you got to still give us a percentage of it, even if you bid it on your own, found it on your own and everything. So make sure that they're not one of those types, because that way, if they will allow you to go get your own contracts outside of them, cool. You'll get your first little pieces of business through them, that guaranteed amount they promise you. That'll help you get your experience up. And then once you're like, all right, I think I'm ready to go independent, you can come on, join Clean Business Network, learn how to price, learn how to bid, learn how to find customers, and then go get you your own customers going forward, and those are yours. And you don't have to take any more from the franchise. They can't take no more fees than what they were already taking, right? So that would be the first thing I would look for is, are you allowed to go get your own contracts outside of them? So if that's the case, cool. The other thing I would look for is, what are their fees? How expensive are their fees? You know what I mean? Because some of them got cheaper fees than others. Also, how many fees are there? Some of them got like 20 different fees. Others only got like 4 or 5. So look at those things like that as well. Also, the stipulations on location and geographics and all of that. Look at those things. Also, try not to buy any additional accounts from them. Like, once you first invest and they fulfill your original package, do your best not to accept any more contracts from them if you decide to go with a franchise, because those are extremely expensive. They got usually what's called a sales and marketing fee, or a finder's fee. It's usually called one or the other. But once they charge you that fee is usually horrendous, and most people don't have the money to pay for it up front. So they'll finance it each month, through monthly payments. And then next thing you know, that monthly payment is eating up a lot of the profit that they would have saw. You know what I mean? So also try to do that if you decide to go that route. But I honestly think that you are more than capable of going independent. You just got to believe in yourself. You got to be willing to put in that work. And you should join Clean Biz Network to do it. And you can join Clean Biz Network for free. All you got to do is go to cleanbiznetwork.com/challenge. Or you can just go to cleanbiznetwork.com, click join, and then put the word challenge in the discount code box that's there. All right. But do not feel like that's the only way for you to start in this business. There are resources out here available for you. My company exists. If Clean Biz Network did not exist, then I probably would go ahead and just say go with a franchise. But once I realized there were so many issues with the franchise, and you can look them up, we got tons of negative reviews about franchises all over the internet. And like I said, I had my experience with them. I had good experiences. I had bad experiences. And I just decided to create a solution to fix those bad parts of it, because I'm the type of person that if I see an issue, I'm not just going to go announce it and complain about it and say, hey, don't do that, it's horrible, without telling you an alternative that's actually better. And so that's why, and there wasn't one when I looked. So then I said, well, you know what, let me create it. And that's where Clean Biz Network came from. All right. So hopefully this video was able to help you. I did my best not to be biased at all. I'm telling you, it's definitely, can you survive with a cleaning franchise? Yes. The biggest draw to a cleaning franchise is the guaranteed amount that they're promising you if you invest. But just be mindful that that guaranteed amount is not the actual amount you're going to take home. It's not even going to go through your bank account at all, because they're going to take your fees before they even deposit into your account. All right. And then also, the fees is crazy. Them wanting a piece of every contract you get, even if you get it without their help, is crazy. The pricing, the fact that you can't control your bidding, like they control that's crazy. And they won't even teach you how to do it in the first place, knowing that you're a rookie. Like all of that type of stuff. And a lot of times they'll put you in buildings without actually giving you physical cleaning training. They'll put you through a book. You know what I mean? You read a manual, and then it's like, all right, now go clean. It's like, I'm telling you now, for anybody that's been in commercial cleaning, y'all know, you cannot just read no book and think you're going to know how to commercial clean. It's different. You got to be out there. You know what I mean? So anyway, get your experience through a franchise if you choose to, and then have an exit strategy for what you're going to do when you decide to get out. You can sell it like I did once you're ready to get out. You could just you can sell it to another person. You can possibly sell it back to your master franchise owner, or you can just give it back and get out. All right. So there's a couple ways to get out if you decide to go in. And then if you decide not to go in, then smart on you, join Clean Biz Network. You can order a starter kit, or you can just join the membership free, like I said. But if you order a starter kit, it'll give you a whole year free to access to Clean Biz Network when you get a starter kit. All right. And that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? But think about it. Think it through. Meet with them. Ask those key questions. Like I told you, I wrote a book on this thing called Is It a Scam? The Truth About Commercial Cleaning Franchises. In that book, I do tell you that one, is definitely not a scam. Commercial cleaning franchises are not scams, but it is debatable if they're, good or bad deals. You know what I mean? And so you can figure that out for yourself if you think it's good for you or not. And then also, if you decide to go through that book I wrote on it, it does actually give you a blueprint on how you could make the most of it if you decide to go with it. But the best way to make the most of all your money, period, is just to own everything. Own it 100%. Don't go no franchise route. Get your stuff started independent. And let me guide you through that at cleanbiznetwork.com. So that's what I got for y'all. Hopefully this video was able to help you. I wish you the best, whatever route you decide to go. And don't think for 1 second if you get a cleaning franchise that you can't join us. There is no non-compete. You're more than welcome to be in Clean Biz Network and be a franchise owner as well. But talk to y'all soon. I'm AJ Simmons, founder of the Clean Biz Network. Thank y'all. Are you looking to start your own cleaning company? Or maybe you started your cleaning company, but you just need a support group, some mentorship, some guidance. Hell, a bidding calculator just to help you know if you're pricing the job correctly. Join us at cleanbiznetwork.app. That's www.cleanbiznetwork.app today and get on the right track with your cleaning company. We have everything you could possibly need to get you going in the right direction, and see why we've been the leading cleaning cleaning business consulting company for the past 5 years, and why they call me AJ Simmons, the cleaning business GOAT. So I can help you just like I've helped and my company has helped thousands of other people start and grow their cleaning companies. Go to the #1 source today, www.cleanbiznetwork.app. Thank you.